Governor, and now Ambassador Tom Foley. Ambassador, your opening statement.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here. I've been traveling around the state since June, going to towns and meeting with groups like this, not many this big, but nevertheless, I think I have a very good feel in my fingertips as a result of talking to so many people around Connecticut about what people are feeling. And I noticed a big change in August when I think the bemusement with the crowd down in Washington and the Obama administration turned to anger. I think this change felt like somebody flipping a light switch, and I think the Tea Party people helped bring the awareness and get the energy into Republicans and people who are against big government and big spending, and in particularly at that time against the health care legislation. Roll forward to our municipal elections, and there was a tremendous response statewide here in Connecticut as well as in three important elections out of state. And then in January, what happened in Massachusetts, the second Massachusetts miracle, where Scott Brown actually got elected to a Senate seat there, have created an unbelievable opportunity for Republicans. And one of the things it's done in Connecticut is it's brought out so many Republican candidates that there are no barnacoats left anywhere in the state. You can't get a pickup truck around here. Yeah, all the phone lines at Cosmo are jammed up with candidates calling about centerfold. So it's a really exciting opportunity. I am very, very happy to be in this race. I think it's very important that we elect a Republican governor. So I certainly hope that one of the people sitting up here at this table is a winner in November. From traveling around the state, it's very clear to me that there are really four things that people in Connecticut care about: jobs in the economy, reducing the cost and size of government, reducing the tax burden on working families, and changing the way business is done in Hartford. I have a plan that I released last week. It's on my website, www.tomfoley2010.com. Please go look at it. It gets into some specific plans in each of those categories. On the spending side, I think that we have an opportunity to take at least $1 billion out of this budget. I was disappointed that the governor didn't plant a flag with an amount of money that would be taken out of the budget in this session. I think forming a commission to figure that out and take a year to decide is unfortunate. We need to be more aggressive. We have a $3 billion structural deficit facing us in the next fiscal year. We need to address spending reductions this session. On the tax side, many of you may not know it, but the average tax bill on a household in Connecticut is $8,600, and the average household income is $68,000. So one out of every $8 of household income in the average household goes to paying state taxes. That is way too heavy a burden, particularly with the economy and the condition it's in. I would be committed to there being certainly no new taxes. And once the spending is brought down, I think we would have very real opportunities to actually reduce taxes on working families. I want to talk a little bit about my background. I have a degree in economics. I have a master's in business administration. I worked for McKinsey, which is a firm that fixes problems for businesses and governments. I went from there to starting my own business, where I was acquiring businesses that weren't performing well and was coming up with plans for fixing them. So I established myself as somewhat of a turnaround person, fixing businesses and making them better, and I was able to build my company to employ over 6,000 people at its peak. I was asked in 2003 to go over to Iraq and oversee the 192 state-owned businesses there. Did that for 7 months. It was very hard duty, but I was very pleased to serve my country. And then I came back, and shortly thereafter was asked to go over to Ireland to be the United States ambassador in Ireland. Now, if any of you has ever offered the opportunity to do one or the other of those things, pick Ireland. It's the right choice, I promise you. I want to talk briefly about what I'm going to do during my campaign. I think we have such an opportunity in the Republican Party here now with this energy. We need to elect more people to the Connecticut House and the Connecticut Senate. I'm committed to doing that. I also, up until the election and when I'm governor, will work with the Republican Party to rebuild this party and rebuild our presence in Hartford to make sure that state policy goes in the directions that we all care most about. Thank you very much.
And now the first of our two questions. And our candidates will each have 2 minutes to answer. We hear a lot that health care is a big drain on our state budget. Do you believe that the state government, sustenance, was passed last year, do you believe it is the right vehicle to deliver health care to state citizens and is cost effective?
One of the biggest challenges we have in the budget currently is the out-of-control healthcare costs in the state of Connecticut. Our Medicare cost per capita in Connecticut is double the national average. One of the problems that you have, one of the reasons I'm running for office, and I think I'm the best candidate, is I'm not a career politician. And I am not part of the problems that have developed up in Hartford, and I think I can come with some fresh ideas and perspective. The last thing you want is a government-run healthcare program that is controlled by politicians, because politicians cannot help resist the temptation to provide benefits to their constituents and to not want to pay for it. So in the healthcare system, what happens with public healthcare programs is the politicians keep raising the benefit levels, and the costs go out of sight, and they offload the costs onto the private sector. And that's what's wrong with the healthcare, or ill-conceived healthcare plan in Washington, and it's what's fundamentally wrong with the concept behind sustenance. I think the goal of having everyone covered by health insurance is a worthy and legitimate goal. I think it should be left to the private sector to figure out how to do it with the guidance of government, but not government-run healthcare programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. We hear a lot on our talk show in the afternoon on the Talk of Connecticut, callers calling the program, saying in the morning on the Brad Davis broadcast, it's okay when a candidate talks about reducing taxes or reducing the size of government, but what are the specifics? So, to that end, that is our second and final question to our candidates tonight.
Well, I think the things that I've learned in the private sector are very applicable to government. A chief executive officer doesn't really decide where expenses are going to be cut in the business, but they are responsible for setting goals. As I said, I think in this session, were I governor today, I would be setting a goal of reducing expenses by $1 billion. I would sit down with the legislature and try and figure out with them where the most fair and balanced reductions can be made while still preserving the services that the citizens expect and deserve. And you would first look in areas where there's waste and duplication, which there's a lot. We have 3 state development agencies, CDA, DECD, and Connecticut Innovation. They could probably, based on most of the people I've been talking to, be combined and probably be even more effective as a single entity than they are as 3. You also have to look where most of the money is being spent. The Department of Social Services is a $5 billion budget. It's 30% of our spending. DCF is $1 billion of our spending. Corrections is another $1 billion. So you have to look in these areas and find out where can efficiencies be achieved, and where can these services be purchased outside by private providers less expensively than having the state provide them directly. So there are a number of areas. I think the next governor is going to have to sit down with the legislature and all the other constituencies who are involved, set a goal, and not let anybody leave the room until whatever that goal is has been achieved.
Thank you, Ambassador.